What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Ethan Horror, this is Ethan Horror, and today we are back with episode 5 of my Halloween Spooktacular, and we are back revisiting The Walking Dead. I've done a lot of videos about The Walking Dead. I did my season ranking, my top 10 episodes, and I think I ranked the villains. And today we're doing the long-awaited top 10 characters, period. Any character in The Walking Dead is fair game in this episode of my Halloween Spooktacular. Let's just say it was tough to narrow it down to 10 because I could have made a top 50 list probably with how many great characters there are in The Walking Dead. There were some characters that I love that I had to leave off the list, like Tyrese and Enid, T-Dog, Carol even. So I could have made a top 50 list. These are just the 10 that I love the absolute most.
I want to play a game.
Here's Johnny!
This is God.
It's showtime.
But it brings us to our current suspects. Ethan.
Coming in at number 10, it's actually a somewhat controversial one because he's not higher up on the list, and that is going to be Carl Grimes. Be happy he got a top 10 spot because I considered not even including him. I felt like I had to, but I considered not because, well, I don't love Carl in the first few seasons of the show, and then I kind of didn't like him for season 3 and 4, but he did start to grow on me and come around by season 5, 6, 7, 8, and I actually really liked Carl by the end of his character arc and character growth, so he is going to be number 10. I mean, how can you not include Carl in the top 10 list? Coming in at number 9, I have Father Gabriel. I'll be honest, it was between Rosita and Gabriel for which one was going to get a spot. Not Gabriel, sorry. I'll be honest, it was between Rosita and Carl for my number 10 spot. So unfortunately, Rosita did get left off as well. But number 9 is Father Gabriel, simply because of his redemption arc. I think him, starting off being the, scared father who, abandoned all of his people by shutting the doors on him and not letting him into the church. And then, eventually he does try to turn on the Rick's group to the Alexandrian people. And, it doesn't work, but then eventually, he comes around and he becomes kind of a badass by the end of the series. And I really like his character and his dynamic with some of the other characters. He even manages to make Jadis an enjoyable character at some points. And he does get a cameo appearance in The Ones Who Live. So I think Gabriel's a very worthy spot of a very worthy member of the top 10. That sucks. Coming in at number 8, I have Eugene Porter. Wow, I did not expect to have him on my top 10. I genuinely didn't expect, but he is here. He's at number 8, and I'm happy he's here because I didn't love his character at the beginning, and I don't think anyone really did. He's this know-it-all that you think has the cure for the disease. Then you learn he's been lying the whole time because he's just been scared and needs protection. So you don't really like him, and then he gets brought to the Saviors and works for them, and you think he's really leaning into it, so it kind of makes you hard to like him there too. But then he eventually comes around and sabotages the Saviors and becomes a very likable character, not only that season but the ones to come. And I think he's honestly a standout character of season 11, one of my favorites of season 11. Yeah, he definitely deserves a spot on the top 10. Coming in at number 7 is actually the character that has the least amount of screen time on my top 10, and that is going to be Herschel Green. I just love Herschel so much. He's so great in season 4. He's great in season 2 and 3, but in season 4, he is a standout for the time he's on the show. Obviously, spoiler alert, his character doesn't make it all the way through season 4, but he's such a great character when he is on the show, where like he's willing to go in with all the people with the disease to try and save them, and he's just super selfless, and he's helping all these people out who have the virus, who they're gonna die because of the virus. Like, if people have died and he was willing to risk it to go in there and save them, not, why did I say him? Save them. And I like his relationship with Glenn and with his daughters, obviously. And I like how he's at first skeptical about, Rick and Shane joining him at the farm, but eventually he, reluctantly agrees to let him stay there, and just the whole conflict of, is he going to kick the group out in season 2? So I really like Herschel, and he is forever a standout on the show. Coming in at number 6 is someone who I thought was going to be in my top 4 that just kept dropping down the list as I remembered other characters. Number 6, I have Michonne. I believe her last name's Hawthorne, but yes, Michonne. I love Michonne. I really thought she was going to end up being in my top 4, but there was a couple characters where I was like, no, they're definitely better than her. I don't love her in The Ones Who Live, but I do think it definitely adds to her character. She's one of the, was she introduced in season 2? Honestly, yeah, because she was in the last episode of season 2, and then 3, 4, yeah, she's been in every season since then. So I think Michonne is a great character. I love seeing her relationship with Carl, and eventually with Judith. Her relationship with all of the characters is really fun to watch, and just her growth throughout the series. She's always been a badass, but just her growth throughout the seasons it's great to watch, and she even makes Andrea an enjoyable character for like an episode. So that's pretty good. Coming in at number 5, we have Glenn Rhee. Now, I was not one of the people who stopped watching the show after Glenn died, but I certainly wasn't one of the people who loved Glenn's death. Some people thought it was really good that it happened because it like helped to drive the show forward. I personally just don't like that we lost Glenn because he's such a great character, but I mean, it was going to happen eventually. If you've read the comics, you knew it was going to happen. It sucks, but what are you going to do? His character in the first 6 seasons I think he's in, he's standout in almost every season he's in. His relationship with Maggie, his relationship with Herschel, his relationship with Rick, just everybody around him loves Glenn, and I love Glenn, and he's my number 5. Coming in at number 4, I am going to bet money you thought that this character missed the list. But I love King Ezekiel. He is one of my favorite characters in the show. Obviously, he's in my top 10. But you probably didn't expect him to be this high, especially at number 4, beating out characters like Carl and Glenn. But he is here at number 4 because I think he is the leader that you need in the apocalypse. Because he was willing to play into the role as the king just to give these people in the kingdom hope. And he even like kept the trading with the saviors, like when the saviors would come. He kept that all a secret to not panic his people. So I think he was a great king and a great leader and one of the most likable characters in the show for almost every season he's in. I mean, even when he eventually stands up for Negan in season 11, I think Ezekiel is one of the best characters in the show, and I'm really glad they didn't decide to go the comic route and kill him with the Pike deaths. So he's going to be number 4. Coming in at number 3, these 3 I've actually talked about before in my top 10 fictional characters, so you can go check out that list. But number 3 is going to be Daryl Dixon. Now, I talked about it in that video as well, that my number 3 and my number 2, they could be switched. I mean, Daryl, I love him. He could easily be my number 2, and my number 2 could easily be my number 3. But I am going with Daryl as my number 3, just like I did my top 10 characters of all time. I put him below my number 2. So, Daryl, I love you. You are easily the best character in a lot of the seasons, and easily the best character throughout most of the seasons. I mean, you carry season 10 and 11 without Rick being there. So, you know, I love Daryl. I love his relationship with all the characters, especially Carol and Judith and Rick and Merle. And Connie. Like, I love seeing him interact with almost any character on screen. He makes it an enjoyable time, and he's going to be my number 3. Coming in at number 2, I am going with Maggie Rhee, not Maggie Green. She says it herself, Maggie Rhee, because she's married to Glenn. Now, the reason I considered putting her at number 3 this time around is because I'm not a huge fan of her in The Walking Dead: The Dead City. But otherwise, she is my favorite character in... I remember there being one season where I was like, yeah, she's my favorite character from that season. But I love her in every season she's in. She's always super likable. Maybe not right at the beginning, she wasn't super likable, but she becomes one of the best characters in the show by at least, like, season 5. Because she becomes a badass, and, you know, the way she responds to Glenn's death, you know, it's realistic, and I like that she will never forgive Negan, but she does kind of start to see him as a person, someone who, I guess, for lack of a better word, is an equal to her. Like, she'll never forgive him, but she's not going to kill him. And, you know, eventually she does try to kill him in season 9, and that leads to, you know, Rick getting taken off the show, which sucks, but I don't knock her character for that. Coming in at number 1, there was no question here. It's Ricky Dicky Doo-Dah Grimes. I mean, come on. It's Rick Grimes. He's the main character. He's my favorite character. Was there any other choice? Was there any other choice for number 1? I mean, Daryl probably is a lot of people's number 1. He's my mom's favorite character, but Rick has always been my favorite character. I love him in the first season, in the second season. You always root for him. You always usually see his side of the story as to be the right one. You know, he is the protagonist, or the closest thing this series has to a main character. And, you know, you get to see his relationship with Shane and Lori and Carl and Michonne, and unfortunately not Judith, but you get to see how much he loves her, and you get to see his relationship with Daryl and all of the other characters and how great of a leader he is. And he is just all around the best character in the show, and one of my favorite fictional characters, period. I think I'd say he's my second favorite fictional character of all time. So I love Rick, and I love The Walking Dead. He's my number 1. Remember, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to hit like and subscribe so I know you see my videos, like it. Otherwise, if you want to be notified when I post any brand new videos, you can hit the bell notification and check out the rest of the Halloween Spooktacular. You can go look at the 4 episodes I posted previous and the 8 episodes I will be posting in the future. I think next week, what's next week? Dumb fun horror movies, I think, maybe. I don't know. Just stay tuned for the next 8 episodes, and the last day, the 13th day, will be my top 50 horror movies, so stay tuned for that as well, and I'll see you guys all next time.